How do? I'm Big Bear.
And I'm Little Bear.
And welcome to Brown Bear Wargaming. Run VT. Hello everyone and welcome to the Brown Bear Wargaming 10-minute painting challenge. We've selected 10 paints, base paints in our case, a brush each, and there's a variety of other brushes people can choose, and a Brown Bear Wargaming official palette. This one has seen better days. We've got some Space Marines that have all been base coated and built, one per person, just like so, and we've got 10 minutes on the clock, and away we go. Now, we had some family visiting over there a few weekends ago, and some of them have been wargamers before. Most of them haven't ever picked up a brush and didn't have a clue what they were doing. But again, that's all part of the fun of the challenge. Now, we were in our local hobby store, and as part of their anniversary event, they had all the new contrast paints out, and they had a 10-minute painting challenge there. Now, I find that really tricky with the contrast paints, so the base paints actually works quite well. Now, quite a few of our family members here. This is Josh, he's never picked up a brush before. Seth likes to play war games and board games, but isn't much of a painter, so he's given it a really good go himself. And now Uncle Gary here, he is a traditional wargamer, a very old school wargamer, and he's an archaeologist on the side, and so he has a little bit of experience before. As you can see, he's decided to make his own wash and he's watering down his paint so he gets some nice layers. And Baby Bear here, she's given it her best shot. She loves Space Wolves, so I think that's the type of theme it looks like she's going for. The countdown clock still keeps going. So as the countdown clock was ticking, people started to panic and making sure they got their base coats down. It was interesting to see those that went straight out of the pot and those that watered them down ever so slightly to get their different effects as well. As part of this challenge, I don't really think it's a case of looking for who's painted the most traditional marine as such. It's more about whose technique is something a bit different. Like Rose here, she's doing something a little bit different with a bit of a dry brushing. She's really trying to try something different. Something that might have been interesting, and I'm pretty sure we did see, was people using splatter techniques using their brush as well, flicking the brush, just to try and do something a little bit different. But it was really interesting to see the amount of detail that these new hobbyists that have never picked up a brush before went for. The clock was still ticking, time was running out, and panic really started to set in. So the brushes were going everywhere, people were moving around trying to grab hold of any paint that they could just to really try and get these models finished off. As you can see from this shot, I actually found my tripod and was able to get some steady shots rather than freehand, which I do feel helped. You can now see Uncle Gary's experience from his traditional wargaming coming through, starting to make a bit of a wash for his model right towards the end. Josh here starting to add a bit more detail just to finish off his model, and time was really pressing now. You can see everyone really starting to rush towards finishing their models, and as we go to the dying seconds, time was up. And here are their finished models after the 10-minute painting challenge. What do you think? Let's have a look.
Here we have Harry's model with a blue approach. I think it's really nice. Here we have my model with a red head and a Balthazar gold base coat. We've got Uncle Gary, very red with a black wash, which is very nice. We have Seth with the blue shoulder pads. I think it's very nice. And we've got Baby Bears, tried to go for a Space Wolf approach here. I think it's really good. And we have Josh here, nicknamed Captain Khaki Pants for his brown pants.
We then had a break. The 10 minutes were up, we had a barbecue, we got the giant Yenga out because, hey, it was nice and sunny, so why not? That's what you've got to do. So we had a bit of a break, we enjoyed ourselves, had a couple of drinks, and to my astonishment, these family members, most of whom have never picked up a brush before and have never gamed before, never painted, suddenly went, Big Bear, can we carry on painting? So the paints came back out and away we went. So of course we gave them a bit of freedom, we let them do a bit more detail, and at this point there was no time limit. So from this point on, it was just a case of going, right, okay, now finish your model, paint it and your detail, and just go a bit crazy. So they started to look on for some inspiration, and here were the finished models. And to be honest, probably about 2 hours, would you say, Little Bear, passed for these final models? What do you think?
These finished models are amazing. You can see all the detail with the mud on the bases, the little vines from the trees, maybe some leaves on the bases. Just the use of wildlife, I think, on the models. The amount of detail on these models is incredible. I think they're amazing.
Now, we're well aware these models are not going to win any painting competitions, and for most people this is their first ever paint. So it's just a bit of fun. I then got home later that evening and thought, right, well, it's only fair if they've joined in the 10-minute painting challenge, then I need to do so myself as well. So I made a start. I used the same 10 paints, the same brushes, and I decided to go for the detail first. So I watered down my black and started to add in all the detail onto my model. I went for some black shoulder pads, I went for the black weapons, I added as much detail with this little black as I could, trying to make it very similar to a contrast paint by watering it down, and did that. I then went for a more of a pinky colour, and the pink we had available was Screamer Pink. Again, I did the same thing, I watered it down and then covered as much of the Space Marine's body as I could. Now, with time limited and only having about 10 minutes, that's not very long. The time does disappear. So I tried to cut corners as much as I possibly could and leave as much of the model white as possible. So I decided to leave one of the arms white and one of the shoulder pads white. And in hindsight, I'd have probably left even more of the model white than that. But hey, that's what I decided to do. And here is my finished model. What do you think? After my 10 minutes, this is what I ended up with. So, what did you think of the 10-minute painting challenge? Is it something you're willing to have a go? We'd love to see your entries if so. Now, we've actually created a Facebook group for Brown Bear Wargaming. Follow the description in the link down below, and then why not vote for your favourite model from the 10-minute painting challenge from me and my family. And if you send in your entries, then we can showcase them on the next video, and we'll pop them on our Facebook group as well. See what other people think. Which 10 colours are you going to choose from? Are you going to go for contrast paints, or are you going to choose another 10? It's quite interesting to see what you do. The deal is, though, it's 10 minutes and it's not long, and the time disappears really, really quickly. Anyway, thanks for watching this week's video. We're really pleased with how many subscribers we've got at the minute and how many views we've got. We're over the moon. We can't believe what's happening. Anyway, thanks very much. I've been Big Bear.
I've been Little Bear.
Happy gaming.